Jim Canarium here, Farmer Jim at Comcast, Farmer Jim at Cape Cod Comcast.net. Today is April 2nd. We're at the State House in Boston. It's Agricultural Day, and we're going to do a series of interviews with young farmers, old farmers, state legislators, senators, and if we're lucky, we're going to get Governor Deval Patrick. There's one thing I need everybody to remember: farming is involved in everything that you do in your life. So today we're going to try to get the important facts of farming in Massachusetts out. Thank you for letting me come into your home. I am the president of the Cape and Islands Farm Bureau and also the farmer's husband at Miss Scarlett's Blue Ribbon Farm. Thank you. I'm standing here with one of the most former influential agricultural proponents, persons that promoted agriculture in Massachusetts history, other than his predecessor, which was Doug Gillespie, Scott Soares. Scott, you're no longer at the State House being the agricultural commissioner. You now have taken a job in the agricultural industry, and give us a little update on your life.
Right. Yep. Thanks, Jim. Good to see you. And thanks for the kind words. I appreciate that. Actually, now I work with the single largest commodity for the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, cranberries. I'm working with the U.S. Cranberry Marketing Committee. It's an organization that was created back in 1962 as what's called a marketing order. And we actually work on supply and demand issues associated with the cranberry industry across the country. So we actually work with cranberry growers not only here in Massachusetts, but in Wisconsin, which is the primary growing area for the country, as well as New Jersey, Washington, and Oregon State. And our most recent efforts have really been to ramp up demand abroad in international markets. In fact, we're in China now and have done the biggest promotion that the committee's ever done in the last 50 years in China. We're also looking at Russia, and we'll be in India and Brazil in the upcoming months to do more of that promotion development.
Getting on my soapbox preaching about agriculture, cranberries was the first real commercial crop in New England 150 years ago.
Yeah.
And I always preach on my show that agriculture started in Plymouth and Barnstable counties 400 years ago when the Mayflower showed up. They brought their cattle and their hogs and their chickens and their corn and everything else. Cranberries grown on Cape Cod, southeastern Massachusetts, are sold all over the world.
That's correct.
And the average person doesn't realize that. They go to the Stop and Shops and the Shaws and the Grand Unions, and they go buy their frozen cranberries or their fresh berries in November, and they forget that somebody like myself or well-represented other people here 7 days a week are tending their crops, tending their livestock, so that they can bring a very healthy and nutritious food to their table. You have seen the transition. I was a dinosaur 6-7 years ago when, we were farming because nobody wanted to buy tomatoes. They could buy them from the Boston produce market for $10 for 25 pounds. Now we're getting a decent price for them. Cranberries, how long has cranberries been in existence in the commercial med?
Well, cranberries are one of only 3 native commercially cultivated crops in North America. The other 2 are Concord grapes, and I know I'm going to draw a blank on blueberries. So blueberries, Concord grapes, and cranberries.
Concord grapes is from where?
From Concord, Massachusetts. I mean, as the name indicates. But I think for cranberries, and you mentioned the Pilgrims, actually the Native Americans knew about the health benefits that really are pinned to what cranberries are all about when they first met the Pilgrims. And cranberries were used for a variety of healing opportunities. Poultices were made by Native Americans as well as for consumption and meat preservation. There were a number of different ways cranberries were used that now research has really proven that in fact the health benefits are really true and accurate. In fact, cranberries are among the highest antioxidant fruits that are out there. Next to blueberries, they're right at the top of the list. So that's really helped us with kind of the health message around cranberry consumption. Ultimately, what we're looking at now is really consuming cranberries for throughout the year, and essentially establishing a reason for every season is kind of the domestic campaign that we're looking at now to really move cranberries beyond just what's typically associated with cranberry sauce at Thanksgiving, but that there are a broad variety of cranberry product forms, dried cranberries, cranberry juices, even powdered cranberry at this point, that can be used in baked goods or used in snack opportunities that people are using throughout the world at this point, and recognizing cranberry for its unique flavor and its goodness.
Throughout the world.
That's right.
Throughout the world.
That's right.
Our little agriculture in little podunk New England is throughout the world.
That's correct.
Everybody eats cranberries at Thanksgiving.
That's right.
Everybody has cranberry juice when they have a urinary tract infection or something like that. Getting back to you, Scott. You served the Commonwealth excellent for
Thank
20
you.
years. 20 years.
Actually, I was with the Department of Agriculture for 17 years altogether. I was the state's first aquaculture program coordinator, so fish farming and shellfish farming, and how I met many of the folks down on the Cape. And from there, I did a variety of things at the department, but the last 3 years of my tenure at the department, I was appointed commissioner. In fact, the only person to ever be appointed from within the agency in the 150-year history as commissioner of the agency, and really feel privileged to have had the opportunity to do that and work with the broad industry here in Massachusetts.
Now you talk about aquaculture.
Yeah.
You were instrumental in E&T Farms.
That's correct. Ed and Betty. Yep.
Ed and Betty Osmond. You've worked closely with Les Hemela.
That's right. Yeah.
John Lowell at East
That's
Dennis
right.
Oysters.
East Dennis Oysters. That's right.
You're educated where?
My education started at SMU, not Southern Methodist, but Southeastern Mass University.
Yep.
And by the time I finished, after some work out in Alaska, came back. It was UMass Dartmouth, and from there I went on and did some graduate work down at the University of Rhode Island.
Right. So when we say buy fresh, buy local, he's been educated local, and he's working local, and he's been and he's done the Commonwealth proud. And I'm sure you're going to do the Cranberry Association proud.
Thanks very much.
Thank you for your time. And good luck.
Thanks a lot, Jim.
Yep.
Thanks.
And on the 8th day, God looked down on his planned paradise and said, I need a caretaker. So God made a farmer.